Senator Stumpf, I don't know who convinced you that education wasn't a priority. You know, in all of our homes up here in the state of Minnesota, haven't we all thought that education was a priority? Police and fire, health care. It's like our families. What's important to us? We got to have shelter. We got to have food. We got to have a health care system, and we probably have to have some transportation. We don't have to go on vacation. We don't need the color television set. There's a whole host of things that families have to give up. They can even give up reading their local paper or buying a new computer, a whole bunch of things. Why doesn't Minnesota have the same priorities when we say, okay, we're going to cut everybody the same? Does that make any sense? It can't make any sense to people that are in here. There's got to be priorities. So I don't know who gave you the idea that you should be the lead horse, because you're a wonderful guy and you're a great senator and you're a great guy on education, and I don't know why they wanted to kill the lead horse, but because we're going to need you as we go down through the line here. But this always riles me up every year when we talk about this equity in the school funding. So have at it. Ray, Senator VanDerveer, you brought us something that's good. It probably might not go very good this year. We'll be back 2 years from now. We'll do it all over again. Maybe somewhere we'll have to get a little, advisory group around here. It seems like we've worked on about 18,000 bills that say, why don't you 18 people get together and study it during the summer? Please put me on the bill, Senator Stumpf. I want to be one of those advisory guys. I'll meet with you, and maybe by next time around we'll have this solved. Thank you.
Senator VanDerveer?
Thank you, Madam President. The only argument against this amendment that I've heard is, we know the distribution of the money isn't fair. Let's make it worse.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
President.
Madam President. I need to respond to this amendment because I think there's sort of this undercurrent that we keep hearing, that somehow students in the St. Paul and Minneapolis and some other districts are sitting around in their classrooms with pots of gold hanging out of their desks, and all the money that should be going to your district, Senator VanDerveer and Senator Day, is going to mine. And so I'm kind of a blunt person, so I'm just going to come right out and address this issue head on. Because I want to tell you a little bit, just for an example, about St. Paul, where I live and where my two children go to the public schools. And I want to say first off that this is an emotional issue for me like it is for all of you. All right. I want to say first off, my kids are getting a great education, and I'm really proud of their school. But let me tell you a little bit about St. Paul. 70% of our students qualify for free and reduced lunch. 17% of our students are special ed. 41% ELL. What does that mean? That means that those categorical funds, we get some money to pay for some of those extra expenses. St. Paul right now, before we pass this bill, we've got a $25 million deficit we're trying to figure out how to deal with in our district. So these cuts will come on top of that. I should mention the federal funds that are coming in. They can't be used, by federal law, they cannot be used to backfill general dollars. They can't be used to backfill formula. They can't be used for general educational purposes. They're required by law not to supplant existing funding. So don't think that all of our problems will be solved by stimulus dollars. They are not going to fill many of those holes. And let me tell you what this really means. St. Paul, and this is just an example, this is not about St. Paul, but I think it's an example of what we're talking about here. Because we have so many children in our district that need special education services, that need English language services, We pay our cross-subsidy for special education in St. Paul. Besides the extra money we get to pay for those special ed kids, we spend over $1,000 per pupil in our cross-subsidy. So taking it away from all the other students for special ed. Now compare that with the average metropolitan district spends $555 in their cross-subsidy for special ed, and the average non-metro school district spends $495 for their cross-subsidy. So we're spending twice as much out of our general ed dollars for special ed in St. Paul on top of these categorical funds to meet the needs of those 17% special ed kids. We have children, a high number of children, with extremely severe disabilities. I don't need to read off the list. You know what I'm talking about. They're great programs for those children. We have over 1,000 students who haven't passed the basic skills test in either math or reading. 75% of them are ELL or special ed. Okay, so what's this about? I'm not complaining. I'm not trying to say poor us. What I'm saying is that, yes, we receive dollars for special ed and ELL and poor kids because we have so many of them, and we use those dollars and we spend more on top of those dollars than anybody else does. And guess what? We love all those children. I don't want to pit disabled children against poor children, against children who don't speak English as a first language, against my children, or against your children. But Senator Day and Senator VanDerveer, if you look at the numbers, you will see that my children, who are not ELL, special ed, poor, they're just average white kids from a well-educated home, they get the same education that your kids do. They don't get all that extra money any more than your kids do. It's not for my kids, it's not for your kids, it's for all those other kids that need money so we can offer them an education too. And they just happen to live in my school district. And as I said, God loves all those children. And so do I. So I'm not trying to be pitting ourselves against them. And members, we should vote this amendment down.
Mr. President, you know,
Senator Day.
that's what's been sold to us for 10 or 15 years. Senator Day, you don't have any homeless. Yes, I do. Senator Day, you don't have single parents. Yes, I do. Senator Day, you don't have different languages, Hispanic, Somali, Faribault, Owatonna, by the hundreds. We have the same problems, it's just smaller school districts. And so when somebody tells me that I get $100,000 per classroom less than St. Paul, that aggravates me. I sent I'm like Senator Anderson. I sent 4 kids through our public school system. They got a good education. I don't have grandkids that are in my, or maybe I could tear up a little bit. But I'm not that type person, as you all well know. So I can get emotional on the other side of it. I'm just trying to get some fairness. I don't know if Senator VanDerveer is saying, I haven't even read the thing. He just says it brings up some fairness and stuff. But the problem I have, it's year after year after year, and we never, ever touch it. And I don't understand it. I don't understand how we can just keep piling it in. Last year it was another $600 or $800 that was added to the mix. And I understand Senator Anderson talking about students that are there that need help. If that's the case, then fine. I'm not saying that they don't need the money they have, but the inequities, if we only got so much to deal with, then my student that has the same identical problems in Owatonna shouldn't get shortchanged by $5,000 per student.